This is the Dark Illumination Report for Saturday, August 22nd, 2020. And on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about whether we should proselytize or not proselytize, evangelize or not to evangelize in shadow path diabolism.
This is the Dark Illumination Report podcast, the official podcast of Shadow Path Diabolism, your daily dose of Diabolonian philosophy to inspire you on your journey down the crooked shadow path. Here's your host, R.J. Womack, Brother Nero.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about whether or not to evangelize when it comes to shadow path diabolism. In our tradition, what do we believe about it? But before I get into that, I want to talk to you a little bit about what we have coming up. And as always, I'm R.J. Womack, aka Brother Nero, and this is the Dark Illumination Report podcast. And this is the podcast where we promote the religious worship of Satan and demons as a serious faith and way of life. And for those of you who don't know, we are not Satanist. We are diabolist. This is the program for shadow path diabolism. There's some people that seem to think that we are Satanist. We are not. We have nothing to do with left-hand path occultism. We have nothing to do with the various forms of Satanism. For those of you who are still unclear, as they say, every day is an IQ test, and some people fail on a daily basis. And so I just want to make that clear for the people that seem to fail the IQ test daily. When we say we are no longer part of the satanic tradition, that's exactly what we mean. We are our own tradition. We define ourselves by our own definition, and we no longer accept the label of Satanist as part of our belief system. Anyway, so let me get to this evangelizing in shadow path diabolism. We would never do that because we believe Satan and the demons choose their own servants. They call those who they will, or they accept the request to be a servant from those who make it if the demons don't call them themselves. And also, along those lines, somebody asked me, I think it was Hayden that asked, do the demons reveal themselves to people, or do demons call them and they answer people's call? And I would say the answer is probably about 50-50. I would say sometimes people are called by demons, even though they have shown no interest in the demons. And I would say about 50% of the time people call out to the demons and the demons respond. So I think it's about evenly matched on that. But as far as proselytizing, as far as evangelizing, we wouldn't do that. It's not our place to do that. The relationship you build with Satan is between you and Satan, and the relationship you build with the demons is between you and the demons. And in fact, related to that, I would say that if you have a partner, if you have a friend that shows an interest in diabolism, I would strongly suggest that you don't push them, that you don't encourage them to practice if they seem to there are people that kind of sort of practice, they kind of dabble with diabolism, they kind of dabble with religious worship of Satan, and some more serious diabolists, some more serious Diabolonians will get angry. They'll try to push their friends or their partners to do more to strengthen their faith. Don't do that. You can't give somebody the faith. You can't give somebody that connection with Satan. But you'd be surprised at how many people struggle with this and how big of a problem this can be in some relationships or in some families. I've seen it in satanic groups that I've been a part of. It happens a lot more than you'd like to think. And so I'm trying to let you know not to do that ahead of time so you don't have to deal with that nonsense. And the other thing I would say too, while I'm on this subject, children, if they're not encouraged to explore the spiritual, will sometimes lose their connection. And they will show a connection at an early age. And if their parents don't encourage that connection or act as if it's just them talking to their imaginary friends, they will lose a genuine spiritual connection. But at the same time, if you overly encourage them, if you pay too much attention to them, they will try to manufacture experiences because they feel that's the only way they can get attention from their parents. So you have to maintain a careful balance with this. But I've found that when from friends of mine that have had children, if you don't encourage that spiritual connection, that early connection that they show with Satan, it will ultimately get lost as they get older. If it's not encouraged, if it's not cultivated, they will lose it. So just be aware of that. But Anyway, I think that's about it for this episode, but I just wanted to bring this up. I know it seems like a very obvious and very kind of like duh kind of subject, but it really is a serious subject, and it really is a serious issue. And I have seen people try to force people to be more devout than they are, whether it's their partners or their friends or whatever. And all it does is destroy their relationship with Satan, and it builds hostility between you and them. So if somebody's not as devout as you would like them to be, don't force it. Don't overdo it. Don't push them, because all you'll do is destroy your relationship with them and possibly destroy their relationship with Satan. Let them develop their devotion on their own time, and you encourage them, you give them advice when they ask for it. But other than that, you stay out of it, and you let Satan call those whom he will, according to his own will, and you leave it alone and don't interfere with that process. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. Hope that helps somebody. Take care. Bye-bye.
If you would like to learn more about the Shadow Path Diabolism tradition of occultism, go to rjwomack.com. That's rjwomack.com. If you enjoyed this podcast and support our message, tell a friend, leave us a review, and follow us on social media.